Welcome to ASTG classes, and in today's class we will start with the topic of if-elif statement. So let's start. Fine. Now, what is the significance we have in this if-elif statement? So let's understand it. We have seen the if statement, we have understood the if-else statement also. And what we have observed? We have observed in case of if statement that it executes for the true condition. Fine. And in case of if-else statement, we have observed that else part executes for the false condition. So what is the benefit of having this if-elif statement? The point, you can say the game-changing point of having this if-elif statement is that we can give a condition with the else part. We can do it with the help of nested conditional statement. It can be possible, but that structure will actually becomes very complex if we have lots and lots of conditions. So in order to overcome that, we have this if-elif statement. Writing is very simple, not a tough one. Structure simple, but the point is this one helps us to give condition with the else part. So how this elif comes from? So if we give the condition with the else part, so else plus if becomes elif. I hope this much is clear to you. Okay. Now let's start how to write the if-elif statement. So let's take the example which we have already taken in our last class, that is the age one. So but here we would be giving some additional conditions. Okay, fine. So let's create a variable age and let's assign it as any number, suppose 24. Okay, now let's give us some condition. So if age less than 18, let's print study. Fine. So if, okay, now sorry, elif age greater than 18, then print what? Elif age equals to 18. Hello. Anything. See, here I have given 3 conditions, but try to observe the conditions given with this one, elif. Clear? Now, here in this case the age is 24. So which particular condition is true? This one. Why? Because 24 is greater than 18. So this particular condition will get evaluated. Now, note down a very important point about this if-elif statement. This whole is one block. Clear? And if any one of the condition gets true, the rest others are ignored. Let me repeat this point. If any one of the condition evaluates to true, the rest other conditions are not checked. They are being ignored. Clear? So in this particular case, since this particular condition this one evaluates to true, so this particular condition will not be checked. It will simply get ignored. Clear? Now, this one is first important point. Second, here the else, and suppose some body of else exists. So this particular else is totally optional. Okay, you can give this else but, or you can omit this also. It's totally depends upon you. But the question is, when this particular else will get evaluated or gets executed? If and only if all the conditions above it evaluates to false. So this particular else condition evaluates if and only if all the conditions which are above this else part evaluates to false. Clear? And in case of if-elif statement, the else, if you want to give else, that would be the last statement, the last condition you can say. That else will evaluate when all the conditions evaluates to false. The last option you can say. And we basically follow this particular structure when we used to write something menu-driven program. So this particular structure is a very helpful structure in order to write menu-driven. And yes, we will discuss that too also in our upcoming videos. For that, we need to understand the while loop, or you can say it's better to use the loop. So it's better to understand loop. So then only we would be able to write menu-driven program. But as of now, let's focus to this particular topic. So two important points exists. First, in case of if-elif, if any one of the condition gets true, the rest other conditions are not checked. So if the first condition, suppose the if condition gets true, the rest other elif will not get checked, or it will simply get ignored. First point. Second point, the else. You can give else or you may not give else. It's totally depend upon you. So this one is the optional. The else part is the optional part. But the point is, when does this else gets evaluated or executed? If and only if all the conditions above it evaluates to false. Now there is a very interesting question which used to come, that what is the difference between having multiple if statements or having this if-elif statement? And that I would show you with the help of a question when I will be doing the practicals. So I know you already have that particular idea, because I have already discussed that point when I was discussing, or I was comparing the if statement with the if-else statement. I hope you have all watched that particular video. If you haven't watched, it's my request, access my playlist and watch to those videos. Why? Because each and every video is connected, and it's very important to have a clear concept of the previous videos too. So that's all for the theory part. Now we will move to our practical class in order to see the same implementation of it on the ideally, or you can say the Python editor. And yes, that important point also, that how this particular if-elif is different from the multiple if conditions. And after completing this particular video, we can say we have completed the major topics of the conditional statement, and after that we will move to the nested part, nested conditional statement. And guys, believe me, that won't be a too complex topic. It would be a very easy topic, because you have the knowledge of these major topics, okay, important topics. So without wasting any time, let's move to our practical class. So guys, let's start our practical class. So as you can see on my screen, the code is already being written, and yes, the code, you can see one point you can observe is that all the conditions are same conditions is being given everywhere. Why? The reason behind it is to actually show you the actual difference, like what the actual difference lies between this if-elif conditional statement and having multiple if conditional statement. So that's my motive. That's why I've given the same conditions everywhere. And another point is that I have commented the else part just to show you that this one is an optional. Okay, so if I execute this particular code, so let's see what output we get. So it's first time, and yeah, it's obvious also. Why? Because as I've discussed during the theory class, that if any one of the condition in case of if-elif statement evaluates to true, the rest other conditions are ignored. So in this case, the first condition only, that is this one, age is actually equals to 80. So the first condition only evaluates to true, and that's why the rest of the conditions, even having the conditions as true, are being ignored. Okay, that's the point in case of if-elif. Now let me decomment it, uncomment this particular else part. So after uncommenting it, let me change the value of variable age to some other number. Why? Because all the conditions are true, so it will evaluate to true in the first condition only. So that's why let's give another other value. Why? Because else parts executes only if the conditions above it evaluates to false. So in this case, all the conditions, that is, in this case, all the comparison is done with the value 18. So in this case, all the conditions will evaluate to false. So definitely this else part will going to execute. Okay, now important point is that this else part is totally optional. So when to use, when not to use, is totally depend upon the program statement or the logic which you are going to use. Okay, so let's execute it and see else parts executed. So this part gets executed. Why? Because the conditions above it evaluates to false. Why? Definitely the value of age, variable age, is now 20. It's not, and if we try to compare it with 18, definitely it will evaluate to false. Fine. Now I have written this particular code, the same code, using multiple if statement. Okay, multiple if, and yes, I think this one is the code. Okay, so if we execute this particular code, then you will get a different output. And why you would be getting that different output, I have already discussed that particular thing in my last video, that is in the video of if else statement. I have also compared that if else statement with if statement. And let's see the output. Okay, let's see the output. See, first time, second time, third time, fourth time. And why this particular output is coming? Any reason? Okay, let me tell you. The reason is that all these if are independent if. They are not dependent. Okay, the one which we have discussed right now, just now, this if-elif part, this whole is one block. Okay, this whole is one block. So if that's why any one of the conditions evaluates to true, so the others are being ignored. But in case of this, they are all independent. So so because of that, all the conditions are checked. Means for this if also, this if also, for this also, and this also. So since there are four if, so fourth time the condition would get checked. And that's why and in this case all the conditions evaluates to true, means in this case all the four if evaluates to true. So that's why we are getting the output as first time, second time, third time, and fourth time. And compare the output with the output which we are getting with the from the if else statement, if elif statement. Okay, if elif statement. So that's the thing, and I hope you have understood the main difference between if elif statement and having multiple if statement. Now which one is good, which one is not good, is totally depend upon the program statement which you are going to write, and upon the logic also, your own logic. Why? Because it don't have any fixed answer. In case of computer science, you don't have any fixed answer. Your logic is yours. The main ultimate point is that it's giving the output as a correct output, executes this on all the test cases. Okay, that's the point. So again, since this one is a practical based subject, so you need to execute, or you need to practice on your system. It's not a theoretical one, so you don't need to remember everything. You need to practice, guys. So the practice is the only thing by which you will be able to understand the subject clearly. And again, if you have any doubt, not understanding any concept, you're free to ask me on the comment section. I will definitely try to
clarified. Okay, so that's all for today, and we would going to meet it with the new topic, the last one topic of the conditional statement, that is the nested one. But yes, that won't be a tough topic. Why? Because we have already completed the major topics. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you very much.